Welcome back to Avaya, Dr. Amit.
Thanks, Andy. We're going to dive deep into family entanglements, family trauma, maybe some homeopathy as well, to help people really free themselves from family drama and reestablish self-love.
I look forward to it. Let's do it. So, okay, let's talk about this family entanglement. It could also be looked at as family trauma. So, how does family trauma affect self-love, and how do you heal family trauma with family constellations therapy?
So family trauma is anything that happens in the family system that disturbs the peace of mind, or what we call the orders of love. So family trauma could be your parents fighting, or, there's a lot of abuse, maybe abandonment, divorces, etc. Sometimes divorce is, of course, healthy. But sometimes the breakup leaves a big impact on us as children, all right? Also, what happens is in family trauma, sometimes we protect the weaker parent, right? The mom who's abused, then we side with her and reject the father. Or if there's a miscarriage or abortion, there's a big heaviness or grief in the family. And we pick up on that as children. So these are unhealed traumas that are often not addressed in normal therapy. These unhealed traumas affect our nervous system and our ability to take care of ourselves. So if mom is suffering a lot, for example, we might not feel we're worth it. We're worth self-love. Because if mom is abused, then we don't have an idea really of what does it feel like to feel loved and to care for myself and to really look forward in life. Because often what happens is if mom is abused, I'm busy taking care of mom or protecting mom and rejecting dad. I'm so busy that I don't have time or space in my own consciousness to really invite happiness or good things in my life because I'm worried about the pain. I'm busy solving problems in the family system. I'm also rejecting dad, who also gave me life. So I'm busy with a defensive approach to life, right? And so you're always on edge. So you don't stop and take in nourishment. And self-love is all about taking in nourishment and feeling good and really allowing life to support you. Yeah, and being in service of life. And a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do that because of family trauma. They're in stress, they're in fight, flight, or freeze response. They're either protecting themselves, their loved ones, busy trying to earn money, not feeling safe in this world. And so there's no time or room to really enjoy life, to feel like you're worth just relaxing and absorbing the good things in life and going for a good holiday and enjoying yourself fully without the guilt, without the worry. So that's how family trauma, early childhood trauma can affect your ability to enjoy life and experience ease and self-love.
Yeah, I love that you talk about the nourishment. Can you say a little bit more about like what is nourishment to people as it relates to self-love? Like what could that look like for people?
Well, as a naturopath, I often think about just good food as well. So eating healthy. But in terms of life and nourishment, a lot of people who have early childhood trauma get busy as adults. We're busy solving issues. Yeah. Either it's I don't know, codependent relationships, so always trying to nurture our loved partner or take care of them or solve their problems because we feel our self-worth comes from looking after them. Yeah. And if they're in pain or they have trouble, then we almost feel like we have a proper role in their lives and a proper role in life itself because we have a purpose looking after someone, right? But you're not nourishing yourself. You're not looking after yourself. You're just burning out your nervous system. The habit of codependency often comes when in early childhood when you have to look after a dependent parent, yeah, or a victim parent. And so we're used to that role of looking after or thinking we have to protect someone. And so we associate that with bonding. Yeah. We associate giving with bonding and belonging in the family. That's how we grew up. So that makes sense. That's how I'm going to get my love back. And it's a painful journey because that's the only thing we can associate with love and trying to receive love back is by somebody needing us. And so it's not even in somebody's awareness to say, hey, it's actually okay to relax and enjoy the sunshine, enjoy nature, enjoy looking after yourself with a good walk, with some good food, and even admiring yourself for taking in compliments. You know, how many of those listening, when they receive a compliment, they're like, ah, no, that's don't say that, or that's not really true, right? There's an inability to receive love and support. So nourishment is really receiving one, good food, of course, but also good thoughts, good relationships, and support. Many of us don't know how to take in support from people. We're doing things ourselves all the time because we're afraid that that support might not last, or we don't deserve it, or we have to do things on our own because that's the way we're brought up. Yeah. So we live isolated lives. Many people live isolated lives because of that habit, or they burn out very fast because they're not looking after themselves in a naturopathic way with good food, but also in a community way, in a communal way, by communicating with people. What are my needs? I need you to help me today. I need you to help me clean my house or move house or something. Can you ask for what you need? That's also an expression of self-love.
Yeah, and one thing we were chatting about before we hopped on is my experience of self-love. And one of the things that I said, which is really just a personal experience lately, is sometimes self-love to me means doing things we don't necessarily want to do. Maybe we don't want to do the work, or maybe we're getting, it's a lot of, we could get triggered easily going into our childhoods and things like that. But sometimes that's what we need to be loving to ourselves to really like break through something. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Mm-hmm. So I practice family constellations therapy and psychotherapy, and many people are scared of going for therapy, or they think it'll open up deep wounds. Yeah. A lot of people also avoid looking after themselves or doing the work on therapy because it looks hard, or thinks it's going to be a hard journey, or they're addicted to their habits and their comfort zone. It's like, why do I need to change? I'm fine, right? But often that attitude is an attitude of anger. They're like, I don't want people to tell me what's wrong with me, right? There's a very strong unconscious belief around therapy. And so when you feel safe and you create, or you feel that you can trust a therapist or a way of living, a modality, a spiritual path, and you're willing to engage in it, right? And feel the support of that spiritual path or that kind of therapy or the naturopathic way, it's really trust and safety that allows you then to start doing the work. So people remain stuck in unhealthy habits, unhealthy thoughts, unhealthy lifestyles because they haven't experienced enough information about a healthy path, about a spiritual path that gives them that sense of predictability and safety that, okay, this is going to help me. You know, a lot of people maybe feel criticized about who they are. So they're like, if I go to therapy or if I'm sent to therapy, that means there's something wrong with me. I'm being criticized. And I don't want to go to therapy because I'm being criticized.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say don't do therapy and all these things for somebody else. Do it because you want to see, hey, where can I get help in my life? Where can I feel more nourished and strong and supported, right? Rather than doing things in my own mind all the time on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a catch-22. It's a vicious cycle because sometimes without self-love, we are in very self-degrading or self-destructive life habits, right? And we're not open to the things that will create self-love, like the naturopathic medicine, the homeopathy, the family constellations therapy. We're not open to those. And the thing is, the paradox is when you surrender and you say, okay, maybe there is a problem with me, or I'm open to I'm open to just looking in the mirror, the self-love begins then.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have somebody else acknowledging your pain, your struggles, and the acknowledgement from a therapist is what makes you feel seen. And when you feel seen, you open the door to your heart. And when you open the door to your heart and you receive love, and compassion from someone, you relax. And in that relaxation and that experience, that itself is the beginning of self-love and true self-compassion.
Beautiful. Well said. I love how you just talked about when you just look in the mirror, and that is the beginning of self-love. There's a quote by Dr. Amit. Love that. And anything else you want to share about how you can help people cultivate self-love and heal codependency?
So I use a lot of homeopathy. I have courses on homeopathy as well, where homeopathy is an energetic form of medicine that helps release trauma, one, and releases a lot of negative thoughts and negative habits, including food cravings that, make you put on weight and things like that, that make you criticize yourself. Okay. So I would encourage everyone to look at homeopathic remedies. Yeah. If you have a lot of self-criticism, for example, a remedy like laccaninum, it's made out of dog's milk, for example. There's a lot of guilt and self-reproach, and like you want to stand up for yourself, but then you criticize yourself and feel angry and guilty at yourself for just snapping out or standing up for yourself, right? There's a lot of remedies like lycopodium and calcarea carbonicum, great remedies if you're suffering from self-doubt and you don't do things in life because you think you're going to fail in life. See, so some people hold themselves back from success, from happiness, because they don't have the confidence to do so. And homeopathic remedies, calcarea carbonica, lycopodium, and others, help with that self-confidence and get you to the next milestone. And the beauty is that when you have this sense of accomplishment and you accomplish what you're looking to do, you get this dopamine rush. And the dopamine rush and the sense of accomplishment gives you this gratification, this self-congratulations. And that's one of the seeds that you can plant to basically grow or foster self-love as well. So homeopathy has really the ability to go in there, yeah, and transform the mind. Yeah, it's not suppressing symptoms, it's not drugging you or anything like that. It's really transforming negative energies, negative thoughts into positive feelings. Another remedy I love using for people who feel guilty and blaming themselves, especially after a failure, is aurum metallicum, homeopathic gold. Excellent remedy. Yeah, so these remedies I cover in the course as well to help you get to that next level of just less anxiety, less depression, and of course, more self-love.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing about those. And I'd love to then also go into family constellations. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you do family constellations work with people and also maybe homeopathy to have that effect going on at the same time to help people. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's a combination of course, naturopathic medicine to help heal the brain chemicals and, work with your food sensitivities, homeopathy to release trauma and help you with your mood, emotions, negative thoughts, and of course, any physical ailments. And then family constellations therapy to look at what are the family entanglements, ancestral traumas, basically, whether your parents have had an abortion or you've had an abortion, miscarriage, etc. Has your grandfather suffered in the war? Were there affairs in the family? Were there murders? Were there people excluded in the family system? Yeah. Or also, where do you belong in your family lineage? If your mom or dad or parents, whatever, had a miscarriage and you're actually, you came after the miscarriage, but you think you're the firstborn, but after acknowledging the child that's missing, you're actually the second or third born, you will feel a lot of relief in your nervous system, in your mind. And when you feel relief in your correct position in the family, you suddenly get the sense of true belonging. And when you feel like you're in the right place in your life, that also supports your nervous system and you begin the feelings of self-love as well. Yeah. Or calmness, peace, whatever you want to call it.
And can you talk a little about the family or the healing sentences that you use for people going through family trauma work?
Yes, with love, with love and pleasure, no pun intended. So I have a course on family constellations therapy. So a lot of these healing sentences are in the course, and I explain all the imbalances in the family. For example, if mom was abused by dad, right? And now you've taken on mom's grief and also her feelings of suffering and maybe not feeling worth it because she was demeaned by the partner or even by her parents, right? If mom was degraded by her parents, she might not feel like she deserves much in life. And then she goes into this unhealthy relationship, and then you're born after. So here you are carrying this pain, the suffering of mom. One of the sentences I encourage clients to say is, "Dear mom, I love you very much. Please give me permission if I see you for who you are, and I recognize my love for you without taking on what is yours, without taking on the rejection and suffering that you received from your dad, your mom, or your partner. Yeah. Please forgive me and still let me be your child. Please allow me to belong to you as a son, as a daughter. If I see you in your strength, yeah, and your ability to carry your suffering without putting it onto me." Another healing sentence, it could be if we're rejecting father and that's causing us, a lot of times when we reject one parent, we end up feeling not good inside ourselves as well, because we have shame around one parent, and that translates into a lack of self-love or self-criticism. And that rejection of one of the other parents is often out of loyalty to the victim parent. Again, let's go back to the idea of abused mom. So what we can say is, "Dear mom, please forgive me and look at me with love if I include dad in my heart. Yeah. If I belong to him as a child as much as I belong to you as a child." And then you become aware of how much rejection and like denying you are doing of being your father's child or the abusive parent's child. And that energy you spend in that denial just basically wreaks havoc on your mind and your nervous system, and you don't end up happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another healing sentence we use for aborted or miscarried children, this is all in the course, is we can say, "Dear mom, dear dad, please look at me as the second or third child. There were two children or one child before me. I am actually in the second position or third position." And you can say, "Dear sibling, I see you. I give you a place in my heart. You came before me." Or you can say, "I've missed you, and now I know that why I'm second and you're first." Just these acknowledgement sentences transforms your entire subconscious nervous system. I know I'm using the strange word subconscious nervous system, but it's your subconsciousness and your nervous system. They both go hand in hand. Yeah, so healing sentences are extremely important in your healing journey because they heal the root cause. What does that mean? Sometimes the family trauma, the missing child, the abusive parents, the affairs, etc., are the root cause of our emotional problems. And we're going to therapy every day, every week, trying to just work on sensations or what we're aware of. And that becomes an endless therapy. But when you get to the root cause and you see, okay, it's actually in the family system, there's a family trauma that's causing all this, you disentangle from the trauma, then you need less therapy because you've untangled really the root cause that's causing the emotional disturbance in the first place.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you for going through those. And yeah, so I can relate to a lot of that. And I'm sure a lot of people watching or listening can, just those, things that maybe we weren't aware of for a really long time, but become aware of in our own families and how that's impacting us. And those self-loving sentences that we can say to help release us from those. The other thing I wanted to ask you, this might seem a little off topic, but one of the things that I've been exploring recently as it relates to self-love and codependency is a lot of us have a belief that maybe the world is out to get me or something like that. Can you talk a little bit about where this belief or thought might come from and maybe some suggestions on how to heal that mindset? The world is out to get me, or he or she or they are out to get me.
Sometimes those thoughts are true. We might have relatives who don't like us.
And that's true too.
And sometimes it could be paranoia or a state of feeling like a victim. Yeah. And that sense of being a victim could come from a feeling of abandonment as a child. Yeah. One example this is so individual But let's explore one example. If I was abandoned as a child and I didn't have support, I become hyper vigilant, yeah, and fearful of the world and insecure. And so a coping mechanism I might do is predict fatalities, predict threat. Yeah, that keeps my nervous system revved up, prepared me for danger. So that person's out to get me, they're out to get me. I never rest because I'm afraid of pain that's coming again, or that pain that might come again. Yeah. So I stay in this narrative that they're out to get me. They don't like me. It keeps me in a narrative that helps me avoid exploring love, creating change in my life. And it's a way of almost trying to keep safe. At the same time, you're actually putting your nervous system in a sense of threat and danger all the time. Yeah, with the unconscious intention of trying to be safe and unchallenged. Yeah. Also, after therapy, what I find people have more confidence of doing is confronting the people and saying, hey, I'm feeling that there's something wrong, or I've offended you, or there's something off between us, or, I've really hurt your feelings, or there's something going on. Let me know if there is something going on. But a lot of people cannot have these conversations because they don't have the stamina, the courage, or even the language to approach these kind of conversations. And so at the retreats, so I do retreats in different places, and with Family Constellations as well, once we go through this process, you kind of create the tools then to feel safe in dialogue or confrontation. I don't want to use the word confrontation because it's not necessarily confrontation. It could be just a dialogue. But as children, if we talked to our parents, we might get scolded, or we don't have permission to talk to the big people. Yeah, it's rude. So sometimes when we have a conflict with somebody else, or the world is out to get me, in our child's mind, these people are bigger than us. They're threatening. So even having a dialogue with these threatening people feels so unsafe. We remain in that childlike victim state throughout our life. So it's about growing that person and creating safety for that inner child, so the adult in you can take over those conversations and still feel safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great examples. And I love that in the beginning, it might be true because it's true. It's not like there's no one who's got it in for us, right? That is an experience we could have, or somebody who just really doesn't like us, or for whatever personal reasons they have going on. But yes, like being able to get to a point where you have the confidence and courage and self-love to have a conversation or ask someone a question. I mean, oh my gosh, sometimes that takes a lot of courage, but yes. Oh, hey, is there something going on today? I'm telling myself that you're mad at me. Is that true? Did I do something to offend you? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I've done that so many times, Andy. And the funny thing is, oftentimes they'll be like, no, I've just, I'm really stressed. I'm worried about my mom. I've had a bad day. I went through a breakup. It's not you. It's really my stuff, Um, and that clarity also gives us relief. And these people appreciate being asked that, because it means you care about the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Wow, that really brings the relationship closer because they feel like you care about their state of being. It also eases your mind to know that, okay, it's not me, and reminds you of not, right, for me, like not taking things so personally all the time. Because man, the vast majority of the time it's not personal.
No, but unfortunately, we want to belong. We want to feel love. We want to feel safe. So if things don't go our way, if we don't get held or looked at or acknowledged or spoken to in the right way, we suffer inside, right? A lot of negative thoughts come our way. And that unsafety then puts us in a corner, and then we isolate ourselves, and then we create stories about the other people. A lot of people are living in this world. We're doing that to ourselves. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing it. There's a purpose for why you're having these negative thoughts, is to soothe your system, or, help you protect yourself. And I encourage you to do some work so that you can begin to feel safe, creating dialogues with people, yeah, that give you clarity and safety, real safety in your life, if it is safe to have those dialogues. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you going into that. That's something that's been on my mind lately, and it seems to be when it's on my mind, it's on other people's minds. So hopefully, people got a lot out of that answer as well. All right, so let's talk about how people can dive deeper with you. I know you have great free resources on your website, and we've got a link to that below.
So yeah, there's free books and videos on gut health, liver detox, anxiety, depression, lots of master classes. Also a course on family constellations therapy and a full course on holistic medicine. And there's great free master classes there on how to combine holistic medicine, family constellations therapy, trauma healing as well. And there you'll also find access to my retreats, which I do around the world. And if you're interested in me coming over and giving you a training on constellation work or holistic medicine, mental health, just shoot me an email. I love teaching, so I'm happy to come over.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you. We love that you love teaching. And we've got the link to your website below for everyone to check that out and all your great resources. Any last insight you would like to leave us with before we wrap up?
If you're feeling abandoned or alone in life and you're suffering or you're unhappy, then I'd say I'd encourage you to really slow down and be patient with yourself, one, and begin to observe your thoughts. Because sometimes the narrative we have is an overcoupling. What does that mean? You're having a sensation of grief, of pain, of loneliness. And then there's an overcoupling with thoughts you associate with those sensations. The thoughts could be, I'm not worth it, I'm unhappy, I'm alone. And so I encourage you to pause and observe the sensation and question the sensation, and then notice the thoughts that come with the sensation. And if you pause long enough, you'll notice that sometimes the sensations don't need to have the thoughts that you're used to having with those sensations. Thoughts could be instead, I forgive myself for this stress or this sensation in my body and in my heart. And that's the beginning of changing the thoughts that really make sensations painful. Sometimes the sensations are okay, but the thoughts that we give to the sensations creates more pain.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. And thank you for doing this as always.
Lots of love. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Andrew.
Yes. And thank you, advice students watching or listening, for showing up for yourself today on your journey. And we will see you again soon. Take care.